What's up guys, my name is Ace, and the Black Ops 4 beta is now live on PS4, and today I thought I would share what I feel are 3 excellent class setups to use from levels 1 to 25, which is the current level cap for the beta. The beta actually released a little bit early, it released yesterday, and I managed to grind my way almost up to the max level at the time of recording this video. So keep in mind, currently, until they increase that level cap, we don't have access to all of the guns and all of the attachments and everything along those lines, so things will change as time goes on. But at least for this first stage of this beta, to get you guys started out, I'm going to be sharing 3 excellent class setups for you guys, as well as towards the end of the video, I'll share what I feel is the best gun in this game currently. So first up, let's start it off with an assault rifle class. This game is pretty much SMG dominated at this point, where you see a lot of SMGs around, and I don't see too many rifles, especially not the Rampart 17. This is my favorite rifle so far in the game, at least out of the ones we have access to, and it kind of reminds me of the Man of War from Black Ops 3. It's a bit of a slower fire rate, but it is a higher damage weapon, and once you get both of those high caliber attachments on there, it is very, very solid. So with this one, for our attachments, you're using the reflex sight. We've got high caliber 1 and high caliber 2, and what that means is you can actually deal more damage to not only the head, but also the chest on enemies, which means this thing can kill very, very quickly with both of those equipped. Our gear is going to be the stim shot, which is my personal favorite piece of gear to use. It's saved my life so many times. If you're a somewhat aggressive player, if you want to get in the action, definitely I would highly recommend running stim shot. Our equipment is going to be the special issue equipment. That's so we can play around with all of the specialist characters' individual pieces of gear, which I think, especially at this stage, is really important. Plus, if you look at it, you don't even unlock a frag grenade or a concussion grenade till beyond level 25, so currently we're just sticking with the special issue gear. Our perk 1 is going to be Tactical Mask, which actually protects you against a lot of things in this game. There are tons of little pieces of gear or score streaks or equipment that Tac Mask will help against. So I decided to keep that on this class here. Perk 2 is going to be Lightweight for this, just allows me to get around the map a little bit faster. And perk 3 is Ghost. Ghost at this stage in the game is very important because most people are going to be running UAV on their classes because they don't really have access to many other streaks. And also they want to learn the maps and everything, and it really helps to have a UAV up for that. If you have Ghost, as long as you're on the move, you're going to be staying off that radar, which is going to be very helpful for taking enemies off guard. So that's my current favorite rifle class at the moment. It's quite versatile. You can be relatively aggressive with this as long as you're hitting your shots and you're accurate and you're aiming for the chest. Don't shoot them in the arms, don't shoot them in the legs. If you aim for their chest, you can absolutely melt people with this setup. This brings us to the second out of the 3 classes I'm going to be sharing for you today, and this one is really underrated. I rarely saw people using the LMG at all. There's only one LMG currently in the beta. This is the Titan. And this gun is very powerful if you treat it right. It's not going to be for everyone. It's definitely not for every playstyle. You do have to hang back a little bit. But if you play it right, this is actually one of my best classes for going on longer streaks with. So with this, we're going to be running the Titan, like I said. Our attachments are going to be extended mags, quick draw, as well as stock, which makes this gun a lot more viable when you do get into those somewhat close range situations, because you can't always avoid those, especially on these maps. Even if you're trying to hang back, there will be times where you end up close and personal against enemies, and therefore with quick draw as well as stock, that allows you to handle those gunfights a little bit better. Our secondary on this is going to be the Hellion Salvo, which is the launcher, and we can use this to shoot down UAVs as well as any other streaks to give us a boost in score towards our personal streak. Our gear on this one isn't the stim shot this time because you're not going to be super aggressive and in the fight, so generally you don't need to really heal in a pinch too much with this weapon. So with this, we're going to be using the ComSec device, which is like Hardline from the past. It gives you a reduced cost for your score streaks, so you can earn those score streaks quite a bit sooner. Our equipment, once again, is going to be special issue just so we can play around with them and nothing else is available, like I explained. Perk 1 is going to be Engineer, which helps us shoot down the streaks much more effectively because you can see them through walls, which makes it really easy to find them to shoot them down. Perk 2 is going to be Gung Ho. I did some testing on this. Gung Ho does reduce your sprint out time by a decent amount, it seems. So I like running it on the LMG because the LMG does have a relatively slow sprint out time. That way, if you do get caught off guard while you're sprinting, which shouldn't be happening too often, but if it does happen, that will definitely help you out in that situation. And finally, for our tier 3 perk, we're going to be using Team Link on this one. Team Link is something that I feel is going to be one of those underrated perks that not a whole lot of people use, but it's actually quite a bit more powerful than I initially thought. With this, you get a larger fog of war radius around you as well as your teammates, which helps you locate enemies, which is really powerful. And also, and I think more importantly, this has been really helpful to me, you can see teammates through walls. So you can see exactly where teammates are, exactly where they're looking, without looking at your mini-map, and if they're really far away from you, and you wouldn't be able to see them on the mini-map anyways, you can still see them through walls, and you can see what they're doing. You can see if they're in a gunfight, you can see what they're doing exactly, and that will actually help you quite a bit in finding the enemy players as well. So like I said, this class is really designed to be hanging back, picking people off from a distance. You don't want to get up close and personal. I wouldn't recommend this in a lot of highly objective modes, but for modes like Chaos TDM, if you want to hang back, you want to lock down areas, you want to just navigate the map in a methodical fashion, this class is excellent for building up those bigger streaks. This brings us to the final class I'm going to be sharing with you guys today, and I did save the best for last, at least in my opinion. This is the best class setup currently to use in the beta. We've got the MX9 SMG, which I think most people found out pretty quickly is the best gun in the game, at least in my opinion, at least out of the ones we have access to. Nothing else seems to really properly compete with this. For attachments, we have a tritium sight, which I really like that. It's kind of like the ELO sight from Black Ops 3, but I think it looks a little nicer. Attachments are going to be stock, because stock on SMGs allows you to strafe quite quickly, kind of like Black Ops 3, which really helps in those gunfights. It allows you to strafe into your shots, as well as evade shots while enemies are shooting at you. We've got advanced mags as well, which gives us a little bit of a higher magazine capacity, as well as a faster reload time. And finally, we have high caliber, which is interesting to see on an SMG, but if you aim for their head, you'll see just how powerful this attachment is on this gun. Keep in mind, when aiming down sight, there is practically no flinch in this game, so you can aim directly at the enemy's head, and you'll deal a noticeable amount of extra damage, and you can melt people really quickly if you manage to land a headshot or two in a gunfight. For our gear, it's no surprise, once again, we're going to have stim shot. Same thing goes with our equipment, exactly the same as the other classes. The special issue equipment is what we're going to be using. Perk 1 is cold-blooded. It seems to keep you off a lot of targeting systems, so attack choppers won't touch you at all. And I think it also works at least a little bit against the motion sensors and possibly even the vision pulse of Recon. I haven't done any detailed testing on that, but it does seem to help keep you concealed when you're moving around the map. For perk 2, I was really torn on this. I've been playing around with a few of the different tier 2 perks, and I've kind of settled on Scavenger at this point, because if you start going on those streaks, you will be burning through ammo fairly quickly with this gun, so Scavenger definitely helps, but it's not a bad choice by any means to be using either Gung Ho or Dexterity for tier 2. And finally, this brings us to our tier 3 perk. This is once again going to be Ghost. We want to stay off that radar. We're going to be quite mobile with this class, and therefore you should be staying off the enemy radar most of the time. So like I said, in the game's current state, with what we have access to currently, in my opinion, this is the best class setup that you can possibly use right now. Once that level cap increases, we'll definitely reevaluate things. We'll try out some of the newer guns, and we'll see what's going on with all that. But until then, this is going to be my go-to class. So with that, we're going to wrap up today's video. Of course, I'd like to know in the comment section below, what's your favorite gun in the game right now, and also favorite class setup. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more Black Ops 4 content if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.
Yeah.